Hi and welcome back to New Forest Feasts. Today we're going to be making a beef and Guinness pie. So in this video we're going to be seeing the beef being braised, vegetables and stock being added, all being stewed up, and then added to a pie tin and pastryed off. But full disclosure, the first part of that video is going to be from a previous dish I made, and I planned exactly for this. So it was too much to have that initial meal I made. So I spooned some out, froze it all up, and it's been in my freezer begging to be reused. So my channel is all about making things easier at home, hearty meals that are quick. And this fits the criteria perfectly. So I've taken that out, it's defrosted for 24 hours. So today I'm going to be adding that to a pie tin, adding the pastry on top, and then cooking it up. Now to my family, it's another delicious meal that looks completely different. So let's get cooking. Hi, I'm a new channel looking for subscribers who love cooking. So if you find this helpful and enjoyable, hit that subscribe button right now and you get notified every time I drop a new video. So I'm cooking in small batches just to ensure I can keep moving it around the pan. And in between cooking this and when it comes to the carrots and the onions, it's important not to clean the pan. All the flavours stay in there. And if you notice the pan was a little bit mucky, when this beef goes in, it sort of picks up all that, I wouldn't say it's dirt, but picks up all the residue from the previous cook. And the same thing happens with the carrots and the onions. It keeps all the flavours on the food and transfers it to slow cooker. So I've added some lardons here, if you want to use squeaky bacon. Today I've opted for the smoky lardons, just add a bit more depth of flavour. Wonder if it'll work with the maltiness of the Guinness, we shall see. Just add the vegetable in batches just to help brown them off a bit as well. now these are browned off a little bit, I'm going to add into the slow cooker that's on a low heat just to keep them more warm. So now's the tricky bit, just trying to get the juices back into the pan from here. Oh, that will do. Just pull these back out. Right, test my skills. So before I add the Guinness into the stock here and the juices, I'm just going to place the beef and the lardons into the slow cooker. It's on a warm heat, so just keep it nice and toasty. Just going to leave that warm through, and I'm just going to add some hot water to some beef stock and get that in there as well. Add in the beef stock. And this is the point where you add the flour in. I've got 2 tablespoons here. And there's different methods to adding this into it. You can just pop it in, try and whisk it. You can do it from adding small amounts of liquid to this, make it into a paste, and then get it in there. Or my method for the quick one is get it in there, whisk it around, and then I get my hand blender and just get that in there. Now it's starting to thicken, alcohol is burning off, and then you can go ahead and add your herbs. I'm adding bay leaves. Now I've got these fresh. When they're fresh, you tend to add a few more. You could buy them dried. When they're in the dried form, they do have more flavour with them, so you can add a few less, but I've got them grown in my garden, so I know they're pesticide free, etc. So in they go. And then we have some thyme. So now get the slow cooker onto high heat, and I'm going to put it on for 6 hours. You can put it on low heat for 8 hours if you want to, and then I'm going to add the stock. There we go. That's in the slow cooker. I just did a clean up around here. I'm going to go out for the day, but for you guys in the next clip, you're going to see the results. Be a good time to tell you that it's my second week doing this. If you want to come on this journey with me, I'll be absolutely thrilled. You can comment, subscribe, like, just give me some advice, possible new dishes you might want me to explore. I've currently got 6 subscribers, so maybe push this up to 10, be wonderful, and I shall see you shortly. Okay, so here it is defrosted. The Irish beef and Guinness stew, all dated up so you know how old it is. And we're going to keep this in a chilled state. And that's super important because today we're using puff pastry. Now, if I explain why or how puff pastry works, so it's essentially a pastry has loads and loads of thin layers of pastry with butter in between. And when the top of that gets exposed to heat, it penetrates through the very thin layer of pastry, hits the butter layer. That layer evaporates, causing the next one to puff up. So it rises up and it penetrates down and down to the pastry, causing the next layer to puff up. And it creates that puff pastry effect. So if you were to add that puff pastry to a pre-warmed mix at the bottom, all that's going to do is not evaporate the butter at the bottom, but it's going to make it melt. And then it's going to work its way up through the layers, melting it. And by melting, it just stops those layers from actually expanding. So what it will create is a soggy pastry top. So it's super important to keep it chilled, pastry on top, into a preheated oven. Okay, so let's get going. So for this, we're going to be needing puff pastry. Today, for ease, I'm going to be using shop-bought, ready-rolled puff pastry. Then 1 egg, beaten, just to help stick it down, and a pie tin, and we're going to measure up to cut the pastry. Let's just first start with getting the egg beaten up. And set that aside. Okay, for this bit, it's important to make sure the pastry has fresh come out of the fridge, so it's nice and cool, otherwise it starts to get quite sticky. So get into a corner. What you should be trying to look to achieve is that that's flush and that's flush there. And then with a knife, just trim around. Like that. Perfect. So next up, we can do another one. For a second pie lid. And then what we've hopefully got is a strip across the bottom here. So what we're looking to achieve now is a strip off that. And we get that strip going around here. I'll try and get a few. Okay, now with the egg wash, just brush across the tops here to help it stick down. And then just move this forward. We can start working on this. So as it starts to warm up a bit, just press it onto the tin. And you'll start to feel into your fingers, it will start to slightly become more pliable. At this stage is a good thing, but with these tops, the whole top sections is not a good thing. Okay, so you should be left with something like that. And then give that a gentle brush over with egg. So you should have something now like this. And then with a slotted spoon, just start placing this in. And the reason for the slotted spoon is because you don't want all this liquid going in there. There'll still be enough in there, but you don't want to be sloppy. And now we add the pastry tops. So gently push it onto the edge. Okay, so once that's done, you can get a little bit fancy. Okay, so my design skills are much to be desired, but what I have here now is a finished pastry. I've put holes in it as well to leave the steam come out of it. I might just tinker around with that a bit just so it looks a little bit better. But once we've achieved this, we then need to give it an egg wash. And here we have the finished pies. You can see the pastry's puffed up quite nicely. Yeah, really happy with that. Same with this one. So let's cut into them and see what they're like. Oh yes, look at that, nice steaming pie. So I'm going to serve these straight onto the plate, just like this. I'm not going to dish them out. The final touch, nice dollop of mash. Now I appreciate these do look rather large. But if I handle them, they are hot, but you can see they're actually quite shallow. And the portion inside them is for one, so they just do look a bit grand, but these are absolutely delicious. Steaming hot, absolutely lovely. So I'm gonna serve my wife's. Not bad, is it? Right, let's give it a go. That is delicious. Oh, nice crunchy pastry. That is a winner. I'll tell you what, not bad for leftovers. Right, I'll catch you next time.